Madam Chair, Mr. D'Souza and Ms. Mazam spoke about the police report lodged over an imam's remarks on Christians and Jews. The imam is reported to have quoted a verse from the Quran, and he seems to have said, I quote, God grant us victory over Jews and Christians, amongst other things, and he seems to have repeated it, said it more than once. Investigations are ongoing. We will know the context of what he said once the investigations are finished. At this stage, let me say this to make clear the government's position. If the imam had referred to the phrase to say, for example, that such phrases can promote ill will, hatred, enmity, or violence against other communities, and that this is not acceptable in a multi-religious society, then there can be no objection. But if he had said that Jews and Christians should be defeated, and for God to grant Muslim brothers victory over them, to make that very point, then that is completely unacceptable. And if any member disagrees, I welcome him or her to stand up and clarify. The government has taken a strict position when Muslims have been attacked. People have been charged and sent to jail. There have been many examples. Let me give one. In 2009, a Christian couple was sentenced to 8 weeks jail for distributing publications that cast Islam in a negative light. The same applies to any attack on any other religion. We will not tolerate any religious preaching that encourages violence or seeks to pit one religion against another. If the imam had not made any inflammatory suggestion, no action will be taken, and we will issue a public statement. But if he did indeed make such suggestions or had engaged in such preaching, then some appropriate action will be taken. We have to be fair to the imam. Thus, I have set out the position in the broadest possible way, outlining the government's position, so that everyone is clear where, as a matter of principle, the government stands on these issues. Even as we make clear that we don't fully know the exact context in which the imam spoke. But the government's position has to be made clear because matters like this have the potential to escalate, with people jumping in, opinions being formed, hardened along religious lines. An NUS academic, Khairuddin Al-Junaid, has come out to criticize the individual who made public what the imam has said. Mr. Al-Junaid has encouraged vilification of that individual. Looking at what he has said, Mr. Khairuddin has said, he seems to suggest that it is okay for the imam to say that Jews and Christians should be defeated. And he assumes that imam intended to mean that. And Mr. Khairuddin sees nothing wrong with that, even if the imam had intended the meaning of his words. Mr. Khairuddin's position and actions are quite unacceptable. He has jumped into this without verifying the facts and without checking the context, and supports a position that is quite contrary to the norms, values, and laws in Singapore. The police will look into the issues and the conduct of everyone involved quite thoroughly. When such issues arise, it is best that parties refer it to the police. Going public may inflame the views further.